Tradition 5 for groups. Hello, I am an addict named Bill. Welcome back to our NA tradition study for groups. Our fifth tradition says, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. We often talk about our message in very broad terms: hope, freedom, finding a new way of life. However, our experience of getting the message often happens in very small ways. Someone shares like they were reading our mind. Some members ask us to join them for coffee after the meeting. Someone reaches out and gives us a hug, or offers us a chair, or notices that we're new and asks our name. Most often, the experience of getting the message is all tangled up with feeling welcome, feeling safe, feeling like we belong, and beginning to think of ourselves as members. Our actions are more important than our words. The actions that make an addict feel included, cared about, and a part of are among the most powerful ways we carry the NA message. Whether we're reaching out to the brand new, newcomer, the middle timer, or the longest timer in the room, we are never too old for a message of hope. Welcome and concern almost always feel good, whether we are new or not. Our members carry the message in our groups, and our groups work best when everyone feels welcome to be a member. The power of the NA group springs from its focus on our primary purpose, and the power of our message comes through the unity and cohesion of our groups. The group is the most effective means of carrying the message, but it can't do that without caring and committed members. A group carries the message by creating an atmosphere of recovery. In the group, addicts come together to share before, during, and after the meeting. In any given meeting, members are at different stages in their recovery, experience different levels of desire, and seek different levels of growth. The variety of honest sharing in the meeting, as much as what any one addict says, helps us identify. When other addicts are willing to get vulnerable and share, it makes it easier for each of us to do the same. If a meeting is not serving a need, it generally goes away. It's important to notice when groups are growing or shrinking, when and why groups struggle with self-support or finding trusted servants. Is the group attractive to other addicts? In a place where people have their choice of meetings, there may be a reason why a struggling meeting isn't getting chosen. A group inventory may help to determine whether changes are needed to help the meeting carry the message more effectively, or whether it's time to let it go. On the other hand, patience and humility may be necessary for a group to take root. Quite a few NA communities got their start due to the persistence of one or two members who kept showing up to open the doors, even when it seemed that no one would ever join them. I sat in the only NA meeting in town by myself for 2 years reading from the white booklet. When someone finally walked in and asked if this was the NA meeting, I almost didn't know what to say. I just said, "Welcome." This sounds so familiar. Myself and my wife were the only two at a meeting we started for 6 months. 2 years, now that's dedication. Back to the reading. Size is not the only measure of a meeting's success. Small meetings can be intimate, unified, and solid. They can provide a safe and steady place to share and to call home. A meeting can be just right. With 10 people or 200, the question is always about the atmosphere of recovery. Are people coming back? Are newcomers staying? Are people sharing honestly and openly? Is the message clear? A group can be diverted from our primary purpose by a variety of things. It can be more invested in its social life than in the message. It can get bogged down in controversy or NA business. It can allow ego, power, or personalities to become more important than the message. There is a simple way to recognize when a meeting stops serving its purpose. Addicts stop coming back. Popularity is not the measure of spiritual health, but when a meeting dwindles noticeably, when the cohesion of the group weakens, when addicts feel physically or emotionally unsafe, when members no longer care to serve or resentment start to infiltrate the meeting, we can usually look to the group's priorities to understand. Just as in our personal recovery, each new day brings a chance to start fresh. At any moment, our group can stop, consider its priorities, and ensure our focus is squarely on carrying a message of recovery. Magic happens in NA meetings. We hear the music of the message even when we don't understand the language in which it is shared. Our groups host meetings and sometimes events, but more than that, they become communities themselves. The bond we share with our fellow group members can be deep and loving, growing over years into something a lot like family. When we focus on our primary purpose, our groups grow into something greater than the sum of their parts. A shared sense of purpose creates its own bond, and as we nurture that purpose, the connections between us grow solid and loving. Here are the group inventory questions. These questions offer a way to begin or continue group inventory or discussion focused on this tradition. Please feel free to comment if listening online. If part of a group, write down your response or thoughts you see within your own groups. 1. Why does a group need a purpose? Why is it so important that we keep our meetings focused on our primary purpose? How does focusing on our primary purpose shape the atmosphere of recovery in our group? 2. Which of our group's practices or customs relate to the fifth tradition? How do we maintain a focus on Narcotics Anonymous' primary purpose? 3. How does our group ensure it is a safe and welcome place? What can we do to make all members feel more welcome? What can our group do to address behavior that challenges our primary purpose? 4. What do we value most about our home group? What part does our group's diversity or sense of identity play in reaching those who attend our meetings? How does our group distinctively carry out our primary purpose? What other purposes does our group serve? 5. What is the message that we carry as a group? How does our group attract addicts or carry a message? How do our business meetings help us? What is the role of the group in carrying a clear message? 6. How and why did this group get started? Has the atmosphere of recovery in our meetings increased or diminished recently? Is there anything we need to do differently? What are the ways our format helps or hinders our ability to carry the message? 7. What is our group's responsibility to still suffering addicts? How do we carry the message to the addicts who have not found our meeting? How can we make our meetings more accessible? Here is my summary of the fifth tradition as this tradition relates to our groups. The fifth tradition of Narcotics Anonymous emphasizes that each group's primary purpose is to carry the message to addicts who still suffer. This message, while often broadly defined as hope and freedom, is conveyed through small, meaningful actions that foster a sense of belonging and safety among members. Essential to this mission are acts of kindness, such as welcoming newcomers, offering emotional support, and creating an environment where openness is encouraged. The strength of an NA group lies in its ability to focus on this primary purpose, ensuring all members, newcomers, and veterans alike feel included and valued. A group's effectiveness in messaging can be measured by its atmosphere of recovery, where honest sharing occurs, and where members feel comfortable expressing vulnerability. Groups may face challenges, such as a shift in focus from recovery to social activities or internal conflicts, which can detract from their mission. Recognizing when a meeting ceases to serve its purpose is crucial, as evidenced by dwindling attendance and a lack of cohesion. Regular group inventories help assess priorities and maintain focus on recovery. Success is not gauged solely by group size. Small meetings can instill intimate connections and provide safe spaces for recovery. A group's safety and welcoming nature are pivotal in retaining and attracting members. Questions for group inventory further guide discussions on how to uphold this tradition, including examining group identity, practices that promote safety, and ensuring that messages conveyed are clear and accessible. Groups should consistently reflect on their responsibilities to suffering addicts, striving to enhance meeting accessibility and outreach. By nurturing a shared sense of purpose, groups can create strong bonds and enhance their collective ability to impact recovery positively. Thus, the fifth tradition serves as a foundation for not just individual recovery, but also for fostering community and support within NA, ultimately strengthening the shared mission. Thanks for listening and your dedication. Tradition 6 will be next, and then we will take a break. Keep coming back. This program works.